woke up feeling so just kind of playful, you know?
Good.
Okay, here we go. Hello out there, and welcome to the Dr. Elisa Show here on KUHS Denver, the stream. How are you doing, everybody? Hope you're doing well. If you're watching me, you know I'm just double checking all my technology to make sure I did it right. I've got a really fun show today, and I was just joking with my guest, who I'll introduce in a minute, that I woke up feeling like I had a happy pill in me, just that life is good. I think sometimes when we start to get to springtime, the days get a bit longer, even though I know it's going to be well below freezing here in Denver for a few days. I still have that sense that we're coming out of the dark time and into something light. So hopefully you have a bit of that. Before I dive into my show, a couple things. I have chosen a charity this year to support. So as you know, one of the things that I encourage all of us to do is be a philanthropist. That could be $1 a month. And one way to do that is to just get a box somewhere in your house and put your spare coins in there. If you are actually, you know, I do found money. So if I find coins on the street, they go into this box. And I have to tell you that I took the coins, this box, a couple weeks ago, to the bank and put it in the coin machine, and the coin machine kept telling me to slow down because I was putting in so many coins. I had $52 in this just from collecting money all year long and change from my pocket, and I was able to donate it. And that just felt so good. And so there's ways that even if you're tight on money, you too can be a philanthropist. This year I am, as I was last year, I am involved in the MS Society, and I am actually hiking and raising money via that fundraiser. But that is my organization that I'm donating to this year. And we're going to actually talk a bit about donations in this show today. My goal is to ignite a Renaissance of spirit in you, to have you feel inspired when you're off the show and when we're done listening, and to make you really, really want to listen to me, right, the next time I'm on. I will be back on Monday, the 15th. It'll be after Valentine's Day, but it's going to be a Valentine's Day special because I'm going to be doing the astrology of love, and we will be able to have you call in or text in or message in with questions. So be ready. It's Monday the 15th at 2:30 Mountain Standard Time here on KUHS Denver, the stream. I've talked about my book before, and you know you can still find it, The Way of the Well. I also want you to know that I do Valentine's special readings where I look at synergy charts and composite charts. So if you're wondering about a relationship, you can go to my website, elisarobin.com. You can email me from there. You can message me from Facebook. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Elisa Robin, and we can set up a reading if you're curious about your love life. So that's probably enough of an introduction. Let me tell you what we're doing today. We are doing Valentine's Day with a twist. So I don't know if you've seen this, but every year you go into the grocery store Valentine's Day afternoon, and there are men in there frantically looking around for a card or flowers, or they have no idea what to do. And for many of us, I don't want my significant other stressed out, but also, yeah, I don't eat candy, and you know, it's nice to get flowers anytime. But there are other ways to show somebody you love them and have it be meaningful and long-lasting. And we are going to talk about some of that today, which might seem a little edgy, but we're going to talk about money and love. So my guest today is Kim Geisler. Kim, welcome to the show. I'm glad you joined me.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here again. I appreciate it. It's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be a fun show. So before we do the fun stuff, we have to do the legal stuff. So I'm just going to read something Okay? The opinions voiced on the Dr. Elisa show with Kim Geisler, sorry.
The tough one.
CFP, RICP are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing.
Right.
And
if I can jump in here real quick, as introduced, my name is Kim Geisler. I'm with Valentine Financial, which is a local independent financial planning and investment management firm based in Old Town Arvada, and we also have an office in Inverness. And the other part of the disclosure that I have to say is that securities are offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, member FINRA SIPC, and investment advisory services are offered through Carson Wealth Management, an SEC registered investment advisor. Cetera Advisor Networks is under separate ownership from any other named entity. Now, that's not very fun. We want to talk about fun stuff.
fun stuff.
We're going to talk about Valentine's Day and gifts of meaning.
Right.
And we have to do those at the beginning and the end of the show, but we're done with that.
We're done with that.
The meat of it. So let's do it.
So I'm going to just start with, I'm just doing a little technology here. There we go. I'm just going to start with, and you and I have talked about this. One of the gifts we can give people is making sure that should something happen to us, they're fine, which sounds like a little bit like a downer. But also, while we're still alive, there's really fun ways that we could show our love. So let's say there's somebody, it's a significant other, male or female, or whatever, saying, non-binary, saying, I'd love to do something this Valentine's Day that makes my significant other feel loved. What might be something super easy to do?
Yep, there's so many, so many, and you talked about one inadvertently in the beginning.
Okay.
So before I go into that, I want to say, you gotta remember, I'm not a counselor, okay? I only play one. But the reality is, I work with couples too, and you gotta consider the person you're giving the gift to as well.
Yes.
So you don't want to give a vacuum cleaner for Christmas or a toaster for their birthday, right?
Right.
So the best gift you can give someone is knowing what will make them happy and give them joy.
That's a great point, yes.
In the new era, I don't know, or energy that we're in right now, there's not a lot, from what I'm seeing from my clients, of I want more and more and more. I need flowers, or I need a ring, or I need, those types of things.
Right.
A lot of what's happened to us in the past year has made us think differently about what's important in our lives. So you brought up an amazing option that I have written down as a gift. Do a joint charitable gift together. Sit down, have a dinner, have a special dinner, have a Valentine's Day dinner, and talk about, if you don't already know, what charities are important to you. Is MS important to you? I personally have charities I support. And do a joint gift together. That's, I think, an amazing gift. And it brings you together as a couple. And that would be a great Valentine's gift. It's also tax deductible potentially. So that helps you in other ways. Right. And so I'm going to stop there and let you, I have others, but I don't know.
We're just going to keep going. So if you're a couple, that's great. Let's build on that. What if I have kids? How else can I build on that charitable giving with kids?
So, Valentine's, as we all know, was developed for partners or, love relationships, not typically necessarily for your kids, right? Every day is for kids, I feel like. But we give our kids little Valentine's Day gifts too. And when I was getting ready for this, I was like, wow, these are, some great ideas here. Why not, for your kids, give them the gift of some stock? Maybe you own maybe you worked for AT&T for years and years, and you have some really low cost basis stock that you've appreciated or that you don't need. And the key here, whenever I'm talking about any type of gifts of monetary or assets, you want to consult your tax advisor or your financial advisor.
Right.
And you also want to make sure that what you're giving you don't need for your own future, because
Right.
the best gift you can give your family, whether it's your partner or your kids, or your siblings, is the gift of your own personal financial independence.
Right.
You
So,
can talk a little
yeah,
more about that.
let's go down this pipeline in a few different ways. Let me tag back and say that for a few years, for nieces and nephews, right, whatever, kids, I stopped giving holiday presents, and I started, and I'd work with the family, so I would sometimes send them a link to a charity where if you donated, you got a stuffed animal. So I
Yeah.
love animal causes, right? And then the kids could pick out an animal, and I would donate, and then they would get a certificate of adoption and a stuffed animal. And
Right.
I think part of the gift we give our kids, or whoever, younger people around us, is teaching them the joy of giving, which we can circle back to that, but it's become so apparent to me that that's a great message to share, right?
It is a great message to share, and right alongside that, there's the gift of investing and learning about personal finance.
Right.
Giving is obviously what we spent what we've talked about most. But when you give the gift of stock, or when you offer another help to pay off a loan, that makes sense, right?
Sure.
Give cash to help start a business. The key is you've got to let it go. When you give that gift, give the gift and let it go.
Yeah.
Because for a variety of different reasons. But the gift of financial literacy is an amazing gift that I don't think in our country we do enough of, and it's one of my passions, which is teaching financial literacy to young people. I wish I had more time to do it. But other gifts you could give in a way would be access to a retirement course. If your partner's struggling with retirement and you have separate finances and that this is something that is bothering them, find a retirement course and buy it for them. If someone you love is in debt, there are courses that can help them get out of debt and stay out of debt.
Right.
I can't say all of them on this for obvious reasons. You can contact me and I'm happy to share those different they're not courses we give on, put on.
Right, they're not your products, but they're just access to. So before you go further, how do people contact you? I want to make sure we get that in here.
Our office number is 303-393-2456. ValorumFinancial.com, and my email address is kim@valorumfinancial.com. For those of you who, obviously most of you are on the radio, Valorum is, I'll spell it, it's V as in Victor, ALOREM, and then financial. And Valorum stands for value in Latin, and that's what we provide, that's what we seek to provide to our clients, is value beyond measure. And so those are ways you can reach me. Another great book, and once again, consider who you're giving it to.
Great advice, yes.
Is a great book on investing, and it doesn't have to be on this is a stock and this is how it works, and this is, you and I have talked about great books, The Soul of Money, right? My most recent favorite book I just read was The Psychology of Money, and it really had nothing to do with should I put money in a Roth IRA or my 401k. It had to do with our culture and how we've gotten to where we are in a lot of different ways around money, and it was an amazing book. So that would be a great Valentine's book.
Absolutely. Especially because people, I have found with my clients, they feel more comfortable sharing sexual secrets than financial information with me, with anyone. which I always find a little bit laughable. Do you think with the clients you work with, and we'll go on to more ideas, are people just embarrassed, or this whole thing about financial literacy, did we just not learn how to do that? What do you think that's about?
All the above.
Okay.
It's that, I hear a lot, well, I don't need a financial advisor because I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't have enough. I don't have enough.
Mm-hmm. I
hear all sorts of things, or people who have money. I don't need a financial advisor. I can do it myself. There's a lot of different people there are a lot of different reasons why people avoid money as a conversation, and people would rather talk about sex and politics, even in this day and age of politics, than about money. And so that's why, another great gift would be if you're a couple and you're in a partnership, and depending on where you're at with money, either you've been married forever and money is still not something you talk about much, or one person's doing it and the other person is not, or you have totally different ways of looking at money. Another great gift would be a couple's financial consultation that you pay. Now, most advisors like us will have an initial consultation at no charge, but that would be another amazing gift, and for Valentine's or any present, Christmas, birthday.
Right. So part of what it does, based on what you're saying, is it opens up our ability to have a conversation about something we may be too nervous to talk about. Right? And so then going and having that third party in there can make people feel more secure.
Yep.
Which is, I think this year I think is really important. Like, how do I feel safe and secure? Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of couples really struggle with talking about money.
Right.
They really do. And before we because that leads us to a really important topic you and I wanted to talk about, which is the best you can give your family. But a couple more ideas, especially for kids. You have kids, adult kids, they have competing goals, like saving for retirement, paying down student loan debt, doing different things. You can do a college fund. You can start a college fund for your grandkids. And that could be added to at Christmas time. That could be added to at birthdays. That's a great gift.
That's a great gift.
To give as well. But, I think you and I want to talk about, too, before we're done here, because the time seems to go so fast, is the best gift that you can give anyone you love, right? Any of your family, which is the gift of, I already talked about the gift of being financially independent is the best gift, so that you are not a burden on your family as we age. But the other gift is to have all of your finances in order.
Right. Right.
So let me stop there and let you talk now.
Yeah, let me speak to that just a bit. I'm just going to do a few stories of times, and these are people I know. In fact, the first two are about me. When my husband passed away, and this isn't necessarily about money, I had the money in order, but I did not know that I did not have medical power of attorney in Colorado just because I was married. So that's not about money, but it's about paperwork. It's about estate planning. It's about all of that. When my mother passed away, I found out that she had never taken my brother's name who had passed away 11 years prior, and so now I needed my brother's death certificates to talk to any financial group where my mom had investments, because he was the first one listed. So before I could even deal with anything, right? And then there were lists of things where she had money, but I wasn't sure which ones had been closed out and which ones hadn't. And I'll just add one more. I heard recently about someone who, and it's hard when a spouse dies for many people. This person had never taken the spouse's name off of any of the documents. And then when that person passed away, the children had to try to dig through, right? And so there's this mess that we sometimes, and confusion, we leave for people. So that's the downside. Cheer us up. What can we do to avoid that?
Well, you you can take control and you can be organized and you can, like I said, the best gift you can give your family and your partner is the gift of having your affairs in order. So that can go a few different ways. You brought up a power of attorney. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. I only play one on TV. That's one of my favorite things. I'm sorry you've already heard that once on this call. But I am a CFP, a certified financial planner practitioner. And so estate planning is very much so something that we work with on our clients, not the actual documents, and we don't give actual legal advice, but we make sure that our clients have these documents in order. And a lot of clients will say, well, I did them. Well, when did you do them? Right. Well, 10 years ago. Right. Okay, well, some of those documents could still be in good order, but, about 8 years ago, Colorado changed the verbiage of the powers of attorney and what makes them effective. So powers of attorney are super important, and they're used in a lot of different ways. In financial planning, in my world, and what you experienced is, and two documents we absolutely recommend to our clients are powers of attorney for healthcare and finance. Healthcare, I won't speak to as much, but even if you're married, you can't, powers of attorney for healthcare are important because you can't necessarily make all the decisions, even though you're married to that person, based on their healthcare, okay? So I'm just gonna kind of leave that aside. I think that's enough to explain that. Powers of attorney for finance is really important as well. Even if you're married, we still need them. So we need them, and powers of attorney come into play when someone is incapacitated. Not when they pass away. It's when they are unable to speak for themselves and they are still with us here in this world, okay? So if I have a client who's married to another client, we've met over the years and they both have accounts with me, one of them's incapacitated, I cannot, unless it's a joint account that they own together, I cannot do anything for based on what the one spouse is asking me to do unless I have a viable power of attorney. I have had cases where new clients have come to me, young man in the hospital, in a coma from cancer, and some monies had run out. She wanted to refinance the house. I had to refer to an estate planning attorney to go get conservatorship because they didn't have a power of attorney executed. So those times are stressful enough. Powers of attorney are very inexpensive to execute. So that is one of the best gifts you could give anyone, especially if you're single. I mean, it works when you're not, but especially when you're single. I had a client pass a couple years ago who was single. All family was out of state. He said he had all those documents. I'd asked him to send them to me. He passed away unexpectedly. No one could find the documents. So they had to go to the courts. So that's one of the best gifts you can give the people that you love. Of course, there's wills, which are important as well. When my father-in-law passed away, no one knew if he wanted to be buried or cremated. So my husband and his stepmom, she calls him, well, what do you think? And we're like, what? You guys didn't talk about this? I mean, your will is when you do pass, you're able to tell the people that you love what you want to happen. Okay. Let me
just add on that for a minute. So hold your thought. Okay, hold your thought. I know some people think wills are creepy. Like, why would I tell someone what I want? Why would I mean, that's just, they should do what they want. And I remember having this conversation with my mother, and I said to her, you remember how when you've been invited to like a wedding shower, you want that person to be registered so you don't have to wander aimlessly through a store wondering what to give them? You want to know what they want and what they need so you can be helpful. I'm like, even more so, right? That I want to honor your wishes. And so a will is even more so. So we think nothing about perhaps registering for what we need or what we want, but then we get creeped out, basically. With, oh my gosh, it's a will.
We get creeped out because we don't want to think about dying. I mean, but what I would encourage people to do is think about, that's that love part, right?
Yeah.
That's, I love my husband and my kids so much that I made him when I was pregnant with our first child, and I was an advisor, obviously, go do that process. And then 8 years ago with our second child, I made him work through that again, and he was obviously more open to it. But this is a very, no one really wants to do it, and it's not fun, and no one wants to pay for it because it's not anything fun, and but it's important, and I have worked with clients whose family gave them that gift,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked with families who have not been given that gift,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell you how hard it is to not have that gift.
Right.
And it comes down to crazy stuff sometimes, like mom wanted me to have the grandfather clock. No, mom said I could have it. So in your will, you can have a list of, okay, Joni gets my wedding ring,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby gets the grandfather clock, blah, 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 blah. If you have special pieces in your world, it's really important, because it's really funny, because when I talk to clients about it, they're like, oh, we're a great family, we get along great, nothing, it'll be fine. And when someone passes, there's so many different emotions
Right.
that come up, and things from childhood, and all this different stuff. And so the other reason why people don't want to do it is they're like, well, what if it changes? Right now it looks like this, but you can change your will.
You can change your will. And I want to go back to how this is actually a loving gift, because we're talking about Valentine's Day, and it may sound depressing, but
Yeah.
but when you want to have sort of a loving experience of the person who's passed, but be more than that, you want to, while they're alive, be able to have a full experience of somebody fully in love without worry. And I think
Yes.
if 2020 taught us anything, many of us are on the edge. Many people are on the edge, and living with worry and consternation is so emotionally difficult. Like,
You're-
so difficult.
Completely correct. And by the way, it's a gift you give yourself as well.
That's right.
So I have clients, I've been doing this for 20 years, and every year, so did you get your estate planning done? No, I've been meaning to do that, and I don't want to pay, I don't want to pay a lawyer to do it, I'm going to do it myself next year. So did you get that estate plan done that we talked about, the will and the powers of attorney? No, I just haven't had time to do it, right? For a variety of reasons. People are busy, and it's really something they don't want to do. But once they get it done, they're like, thank goodness I got this done.
Right.
You can ask me, and I can say it's done, and I'm so glad it's over, and I can move on.
Right.
And that's just releasing the energy around that,
Absolutely.
because you're not thinking about it every day, but it's still back here in your head.
Right.
And so having that done is a gift to yourself. It's also really nice. My father passed 3 years ago. And when I would come to visit, he would show me the file cabinets, and he would show me where everything is. And when he did pass, I was there for my mom, and it was really sweet to see his yellow pad notes with the budget and the different things, and for both of us, that was love. That was
right.
him to make sure that mom was taken care of, and that it would be easy on her.
Right.
So,
And sometimes I can tell you that it can be fun. So the word galentine, galentine is taken up, right? Valentine's with your girlfriends, with your gals, and one of my jokes is, now I'm single and I don't have immediate family. I have a girlfriend, two best friends, and one has medical power, one has financial power of attorney, and we joke that maybe I shouldn't go traveling with both of them, who I love dearly, but now we have this lovely joke between us, right? Of, you've got the medical and you've got the money, and and there might be plotting, yes, but I feel so loved because they're willing to say, yeah, if something happens to you, we're gonna step in and make sure that your wishes are taken care of, and thank you for trusting us. How loving of you. So, yeah, let's go back well, I really do want to talk about how we make it more romantic, so we'll do that.
Right, I was sitting here going, wow, I really love this, and this is what I do for a living, but this isn't very romantic.
So we're going to go back to how you do it romantic. Before we do, I want to break in and let you know that you are listening to the Dr. Elisa Show here on KUHS Denver, the stream. My guest, Kim Geisler, and I are talking about money, other kinds of ways that you can show your love at Valentine's Day. Now, I have to say, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is a very expensive holiday. It has come in, I think, second to the Christmas holidays, right? Easter, Christmas, and Valentine's Day. And if you're going to spend money, one of our points that we've made is make sure you know the person that you're getting the person something that they want. I do have to tell this one completely hysterical story that is a little off topic, but it's a famous story in their family, so I get to tell it. That I have a friend who's an artist, and he stores his art in these big, like semi-truck containers, and he had run out of room at home, and as a Valentine's Day present, he told me that he bought another one for his wife, a big container, so that the house could cleared out a little more. And I sat him down and I said, so can I just go over this with you? When she opens that door to look in that container, will there be a little table for a bottle of wine, a couple chairs, and perhaps a box with earrings in it? Like, you can't just buy her stuff, right? Figure out what the person wants. This story is actually famous in their family. Whenever I come to see them, they're like, oh, you're the one who saved their marriage because you kept him from buying something that he thought was useful, but didn't speak to who she is. And I do believe that in any relationship, in the United States, in these times we're in, money is part of, right, the concern about money, the how do I live my future. So before we go romantic, can we go back to teaching girls about money? That's one of your passions. And I have to say that so many women, when my husband passed, everybody said to me, are you going to be okay? I was the breadwinner and everything was in my name. I was totally in control of that money, right? He's the one who would have been in trouble, though I had everything set up for him. So can we talk about girls and financial literacy? Because what a great present to give your kids or your grandkids.
Yep, and it's not just girls.
It's not just girls, absolutely.
And I'm not, obviously, I'm teasing you on that. It's people in general, young people.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to work with a lot of females. My target market is single women, and then couples where the woman is driving the conversation,
mm-hmm.
or in a traditional relationship, the male does most of it, but he wants his wife to be involved and to have an advisor that she can connect with, because demographically speaking, most of the time, these guys know that their wives will probably outlive them, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I work with a lot of women. I love men. I love men and women, okay?
Right.
But I also have a soft spot for young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Girl Scout leader.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I'm a Girl Scout leader for my 8-year-old daughter's troop is because believe it or not, the cookie sales that are going on right now drive everyone nuts. I know they do, not everyone, but a lot of people.
A lot of people.
But I would ask people to consider it differently, because it's an opportunity for young women to learn about entrepreneurism, excuse me. Some leaders don't do what I do, but because I believe in financial literacy, I actually show the girls how to sell them, how to thank them, how to present, the cookies. But even more so, I show them, and I have a box here, but my background might not let you.
There you go. You got it. Yeah.
And I know we're on radio, so no one can see that. But
some people saw it and are now drooling, thinking, "Where do I get Girl Scout cookies this year?"
Right. But it's also we talk about, okay, here's a cookie, and it takes money to make that cookie, and that's called cost of goods sold. and that's X percentage of that particular cookie.
Right.
And then this goes to this, and then this goes to Girl Scouts of Colorado, and this goes here, and this goes here. And that's one way I try and teach financial literacy in a very small way, but that's one thing that I think is super important to do, because we're just not doing enough in our country to teach people about finances. I also do, I present to other scouting troops, church groups and such on the money jar concept, which is spend, save, and share, which ties all into this conversation. You talk about wants versus needs, and this is usually for a younger generation. I've done fun with older kids where we do a mock stock group together, and we break into groups, and we pick, the groups pick stocks, and I show them how to track the stocks. But back to gifts, I mean, if you give the gift of stock, and I used AT&T as an example, you own it really cheap and you don't need it because you have wealth and you don't need it. You can gift 100 shares, I'm making the numbers up,
Right, yeah.
to someone. They take on the cost basis that you have, but you get something out of your estate, and it gives it to your grandchild or your child, and they're, once again, you're gonna need to consult your tax advisor and your financial advisor. But from that gift, it's not just giving them something, you're gonna show them hopefully how that works, and how to watch AT&T and see how it's doing and what dividend it pays. And those are gifts that you know, there's that saying, you know, give a man a fish or teach a man how to fish. I don't have the exact words, but those are the gifts. Of course, I'm a nerd, I'm a financial advisor, I love that, right? But you talk about making things fun, you know, get a thing of tulips, right? Here, I got a thing of tulips here that I bought myself for Valentine's Day, and put in the middle of it a little sign with a heart that says, I made a donation,
Yes.
to the MS Society for you as well. I made a donation in your honor.
Right.
So, you know, those are how you make it, you know, a little bit different and a little bit more.
Even I noticed on the Girl Scout site that now you order online, that I could buy cookies, and I also could donate cookies, right? Which was like, wow, that's even better, right? I can donate cookies. And so same thing, you could, not that maybe Girl Scout cookies are that romantic, for some people they are, but you can then attach that gift, and together we donated.
Yes.
I want to go back too to some of the ways that this Valentine's gift then can help a relationship. So somebody brings me flowers, it's lovely. I mean, it really is lovely. But it doesn't further the relationship necessarily. It doesn't resolve issues in a relationship. And my experience has been that money is one of the big reasons that people, any kind of relationship, fall apart. Whatever partnerships, marriages, friendships, there's something about money that gets in the middle.
Yep.
So being able to have some shared conversations and goals. You had an idea when we talked before that I really loved. You talked about a matching savings gift, like helping somebody with a savings account. So could you just talk about that one a bit?
Yeah, so a couple more even beyond the matching savings gift. So if you have if your partner struggles with saving and they've shared that with you, and one thing, or your child, you can say, okay, once again, you need to do only what you can afford, right?
Right.
I want everyone to remember that.
That's right.
So if you say to someone, or help paying off debt, someone's in debt, you're in relationship with someone, you're not in debt, but they are, it's holding back your relationship. I've seen that many, many times. Yes. You know, there's a fine line between enabling and helping, because a lot of times when people are in debt, there's something else going on behind that. And that really has to change. That habit has to change. Sorry. And then,
okay.
But if one thing you could do is offer a savings match or a debt payoff match, right? So if if you're making, I'm making numbers up, $1,000 a month, and you're gonna save 10% of that, I'm gonna match that for you.
Right. So in a relationship, this could be something that you could do. So I'm thinking romantic dinner, right? And Colorado's can be very cold. Romantic dinner inside at home sounds like a lovely thing to do during COVID. And have a conversation about money that doesn't lead to an argument. In a relationship, it seems like one person is the saver and one person is the spender, and you actually need both, probably, right? But you've got to be able to talk about that. You can't, you can't fight about it. And so I'm imagining, if we try to make this a little more romantic, buy the tulips, make the dinner, and then in advance set out, let's have the conversation, or like you said, let's make a plan. I bought you a gift. We're gonna go see a financial person together and figure out where we are financially. When people just figure out where they are, even if they're in debt, have you found that that's a positive effect on the relationships, on individuals?
Absolutely. I mean, you and I have talked about the energy of money so many different times. We could talk for hours on that, and just getting it off their chest and talking with an advisor as a couple or as an independent or alone, an individual, can really help move things forward and break up that energy so that people move forward and get through it. And on the flip side, there are people who have a lot of wealth, and there are issues with that too. What do I do with it? I don't want people to have it.
Right.
You know, and another idea would be, you know, you could have a nice dinner for Valentine's Day, and then decide together to set up a special occasion fund.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So you could be like, you know what, we have enough, you know, we don't need more things. That's what my husband and I do. We have enough. Within reason. I mean, I'm not saying I have like a yacht and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you don't need a yacht, so that's okay.
No, but okay, let's set up a special occasion fund.
Right.
So instead of a Valentine's Day, I'm not going to buy you the giant Reese's, you know, heart, because as we get older, when we eat those, we gain like 10 pounds.
That's right. Yes. You can just apply it directly to your hip. Like, don't even bother eating it. Just tape it on your hip, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So let's take these opportunities and put it into a fund, and then have fun with that.
Right, because then at the end there's a trip. And I actually did that, something like that with a girlfriend. So in 2019, I did this big adventure trip to Portugal with a girlfriend. It was a hiking trip. And we planned the trip, and then we both started saving. Because when we were on the trip, we didn't want to think about money. And so we set up goals, and you know, she lives in a different state, and we're just good friends, but we helped each other, so that when we met up in London, which is a whole other story, we connected at Heathrow, which was amazing. But from that point on, money was not an issue. We knew who had paid what, we knew how much money we had, we both felt free enough to spend our own money. So there's such a gift in planning ahead. That's just amazing. And romantic in that as a couple, you're planning for something big you're going to do together.
Yeah, and it builds anticipation, and there's nothing worse than going on a trip, whether it's big or small, worrying about the money part of it, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not a trip. Maybe the special occasion fund is, you know, something you want to buy for your house together that is a little bit more extravagant, a piece of art, or you know, something that is out of the ordinary.
Right.
And then, go ahead.
Well, I just want to add this, and then so hold your thought, that I don't want people to think we're just talking to people with a lot of money. When I came to see you, I was almost down to zero. I was just coming back out from zero, basically, and didn't ever want to go there again. I've also had clients who have a lot of money, like a lot of money, and they spend all their time worrying about their money. So it's both sides. We're not just talking to people who have a great deal, who are financially more than just secure. Wherever you are on that, and financial security is in your head. It's not a number in your checkbook, right, in your checking account. So, yeah, so I'm sorry, I interrupted you with a thought about
No, I love that. I love that. You know, true wealth is defined by different people in different ways. And that's part of the process that we take our clients down is what is true wealth to you? You know, I have clients who true wealth to them, they don't need a lot and they have a lot more assets. So then we're working on, well, what's important to you? Where do you want these to go? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? I have clients who are true wealth to them is competing goals, trying to pay off student loans, you know, buy a house, save for education, save for retirement. True wealth changes over time as your season in your life changes as well. And so that's why a good financial advisor, that's why we go back to people who say, oh, I don't need a financial advisor. And there are a lot of different financial advisors. And last time I was on, we talked about that. We probably don't have time to go through that again. But there are people out there who don't manage money, but they're financial advisors, and they just do planning, only planning. There are people who are financial counselors that are actually financial advisors. So they don't really do any of the implementation or any of this, the big strategy stuff, but they really help you change the way you see money and help move you forward. So, and then there are advisors out there who only work with people who have millions of dollars. I mean, there are all sorts of different advisors out there that are available to you. But it's just a matter of being ready to go on that journey and figure out what true wealth means to you.
So I wanna bring it back around. We've got about 4 minutes left today, and this has been great. And I know there's times where it hasn't sounded romantic, but I want to bring it back to that how romantic is it to do something that afterwards your relationship is better? That's probably what romance is about, a way of bringing people together. And that what we're talking about helps people not just relax, but feel more connected, because they're having that conversation that is so difficult to have without blame. There are financial therapists out there also, right? Just what are your issues around money? So it isn't that you necessarily need to pay someone spend a great deal of money for financial advice. It's that you need to do something that enriches your relationship. And that perhaps is the best gift of Valentine's Day.
And because that energy around that is in every relationship about money and finances. And that's what makes it romantic, is facing that and working through it and being together and connected in the money conversation.
Right. And if you're going to do a Galentine's Day, right, bring all your gal friends together and do that, you could do the same thing. You could right now have a Zoom with a financial advisor who says, okay, as women, how are we doing, right? And who's the entrepreneur and who's the saver? And let's not be embarrassed about this. Let's support each other in this. And what better way to show a friend you love them than help them be secure in the future?
The way I got into this business 20 years ago, I was in a totally different career, and 3 of my friends that I worked with came to me with, how do I start my 401k? How do I pay off debt? How do I buy a house? And I was like, I really like this. This is good stuff. So that's how I started in this business. That's what pushed me to start into this business. And supporting each other as women and as humans, obviously, is obviously very important to stay connected and move forward. So I know we're getting low on time.
Right, but so I want you to tell people again, how do they get in touch with you?
303-393-2456. Valorem Financial, V as in Victor, ALOREM, just like Valor Financial. We're on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. And the website is valoremfinancial.com.
Thank you. So if you're listening in, thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to just bring it back to being inspired. I know that money may not sound romantic, but so much about what we talked about today, ways that you can inspire others around you. I have to tell you that I've inspired so many women when I say to them, I went from 0 to financial security. Yes, I've had losses, but I was prepared and I'm okay. And there's something profoundly magical and romantic, honestly, about being able to do that. So please find my website, check out my blog. You'll see old shows posted, all the old shows there. You can find me on YouTube. ElisaRobin.com is the website. Elisa Robin on Instagram. Elisa Robin with a Y always on Facebook and on Twitter. And reach out. I actually have a Valentine's Day special right now going on. I will do a composite and synergy chart for you, talk about your relationships. And tune in on Monday the 15th, and I'll be doing the astrology of love, and you'll be able to call in or text in your questions following Valentine's Day. Until then, stay well, stay healthy, and stay inspired. What? Anne? What? Oh my gosh.
Silly thing, and if you want me to just do it real quick, I will.
Just do it really quick, yeah.
Not silly. I shouldn't say that.
Okay,
it's
do it
important. So the opinions voiced on this show by either of us are for general information only, or not specific advice to your specific individual situation. So to determine what might be appropriate, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to making changes to your financial situation. At Valorum, securities are offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, member FINRA SIPC, and our investment advisory services are offered through Carson Wealth Management, an SEC registered investment advisor. And Cetera Advisor Networks is under separate ownership from any of the other named entities. And that is not a very, very exciting way to end your show.
So it's okay.
Say the last part real quick. What you were saying at the end.
So stay well, stay inspired, and have a lovely romantic Valentine's Day. See you soon. Yes, see you soon.
Thank you.